Okay, well, hello there, and welcome to the brand new podcast of Grace, otherwise known as Juniper Grace, on not just Ravelry, but pretty much everything. I think I've got my blogspot.com, on Etsy, although it's kind of hibernating right now. Yeah, and Instagram. Instagram, I am Juniper Grace on Instagram. Well, welcome here, and thanks for coming by. It looks like I decided to start a podcast. I don't know if it was a great idea or a crazy idea, but I think it'll be really fun. So, I guess let's get started. Okay, so, maybe a little history about me. My name is Grace. I live in Canada on Vancouver Island from the wonderful west coast of British Columbia. And I guess how this all started was I started listening to Paula from Knitting Pipeline. She has the most wonderful podcast. If you've never heard of her, please go listen to her. But I bet you the only people watching this video cast anyways are the people that listened to Paula and came to her retreat that just happened in Maine earlier in November. And you were the people that told me to start podcasting. So, well, here I am. So, all right, let's get to business. My name is Grace. I go by Juniper Grace. I live in Vancouver Island. I am married to a wonderful man who is an accountant, and I like to knit. And lots of other things too. I like to knit. I like to play my ukulele and my guitar. I have an extensive, I'm gonna shift the camera, extensive happy book collection that's really messy right now. Maybe we could use a little maintenance. Let's just, we're friends. We're all friends, right? Yeah. So, here I am. And hopefully I will keep doing this podcast for a little while. I've decided to call it JuniperGraceTube. I used to have GraceTubes for a while where I was playing awesome ukulele covers, and I think I might bring that back and kind of merge it with knitting talk. So for the people that really just miss the GraceTubes and want video, like music videos, I think I'll put the music at the beginning, and then I'll go to, knitting after, which should be fun, right? So let's get back to what I was talking about. I guess this first podcast, as much as it's kind of a get to know you me, really, because, well, I guess it's all about me. Sort of, kind of. It sounds so selfish. It's like, come to my world and listen about me and be my friend. No, but you could. I mean, really, if you want to. Oh dear. Okay, anyways, let's move on. But yeah, we're talking about me. Why not? I'm going to share a little piece of my fun world here on Vancouver Island and all of the crazy knitting things that I like to do. And I think this retreat I'm going to talk a lot about Maine. This video I'm going to talk a lot about Maine just because I feel like it changed my life a little bit in a really wonderful way. I made new friends. I learned a few new techniques. I bought a lot of yarn and just kind of felt the love, the really inspiring, encouraging love from everybody. So, so we've already talked about Paula, and Paula is amazing. Paula, I love to listen to her podcast. I like to put it on and sometimes make like a good cup of coffee and have my knitting, or I always keep like a little notebook next to me too, just because she's always talking about really interesting things, so I have to write down what she's talking about, or I have my computer on and then I, check what she was talking about and look at the pictures and look at the project notes and actually look at the project and buy probably like 10 patterns or download new patterns and get started. It's amazing. She's amazing. So I will definitely have show notes on my blog. That way you can actually look up and follow along to who I'm talking about. So first of all, it'll be Paula at Knitting Pipeline. Actually right now, really recently, Washington, Illinois was hit with a terrible, huge tornado, and there was a lot of devastation. Paula was one of the lucky ones that kind of got away pretty unscathed, but now, being the amazing woman that she is, she's giving back, and she's been really busy helping in her community, helping in the kitchen, at her church, helping serve people that lost unbelievable amounts of things. I know that all of our prayers and our thoughts are definitely, I'm sending lots of happiness over that way. So I hope that, you know, the recovery process goes well, and that, you know, in times of such hardship, that you guys can band together and feel the love. The love from not just, you know, the people that managed to escape the tornado, but the people from all around the world that heard about it and are sending their love and their prayers. We're definitely thinking about you at this time. So I guess we'll start with my adventure. I was listening to Paula, and Paula talks a lot about when she was younger, and Elizabeth Zimmerman was putting on knitting camps. Paula was lucky and went to these knitting camps, got to know Elizabeth Zimmerman a little bit, and learn amazing things. I mean, it would have been like sitting at the feet of Yoda, but with knitting needles. I just can't even imagine. But she got to go, and then I guess later on down the line, here Paula is now, and she's been podcasting, and she started doing some retreats in Illinois, but then someone had the brilliant idea of, why don't we go to Maine and visit Quince and Company, and not just that, just knit and get to know each other and have a blast. And here I am on like the exact opposite side of the country, thinking to myself, oh, that sounds interesting. I was listening to the podcast, and I'm drinking my cup of coffee and knitting, and Paula mentions, oh, well, we're thinking about having a retreat in Maine. And I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, you know, and we'll probably we're thinking about visiting Quince and Company. And I was like, that's amazing. Quince and Company. Then she said the date of when this was going to happen, November 10th to 14th. And, well, my birthday is November 13th. Let's just say I made a really quick phone call to my mom, and I said, Mom, for my Christmas and my birthday present and like every present of life, please, pretty please, put the cherry on top. And it happened, you know. I mean, I was hoping that my mom would come with me, but she couldn't do it, and that's okay. I mean, it was pretty expensive. But then that leads to the next story. So I apply to go to this. Oh, one thing that you'll get to know about me is I talk a lot, but it's a podcast. So, you know, I think that's kind of the point. A lot of people said that I talk a lot, and, well, hopefully my stories are entertaining to you, and if not, I'm really sorry, but, well, you know, it's free, like the fat squirrel says. She says, well, it's free, so what are you complaining about? You know, come in, have a cup of coffee, get your knitting, and get ready to be chitter-chattered at, and it'll be fun. So now I forgot my trail of thought. Oh yeah, the next story. So I apply, I send in the money, like, you know, the down payment, and I'm so excited, and somewhere along the way I had told Paula in a message, I said, oh, Paula, I'm so excited, this is, you know, this retreat is amazing, and oh, it's over my birthday, and I'm so excited, and hopefully I can maybe bring my mom with me, but I call my mom Mumsy, like M-U-M-S-Y, it's just like my little lovey nickname for her, because I love her. She's my mom. And so I'm like, oh, I hope my mom can come with me, because I thought, well, this is great. I taught her how to knit. She'd love it. It would be so much fun. We'll meet some women, and it'll be great. Except, you know, traveling across the country and, you know, and then having money to shop and everything, too, is just, it's a lot of money. And so Mom said, okay, well, I'm not going to go, but I'll help you get there, because I know this means a lot to you, and my mom's amazing. So then, you know, Paula messaged me, and she's like, oh, I thought your mom was going to come too. And I said, oh, no, you know, she decided that she just can't really afford it, and so I'll just go, and that's fine, no big deal. And all the while I'm going, okay, that's so nice of Paula. She's so thoughtful. She's, you know, checking up on us. That's great. Then I get another email, and she goes, Grace, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but can I ask how old you are? And but this happens like while I'm at work. So then there's another email right after that almost, where she's like, oh, never mind. I read in your Ravelry profile that you've been knitting for over 20 years. So that means you must be at least 25. And I'm just laughing because I email her back and I say, well, Paula, I'm 28 and I'm married. Like, you know, yeah. And so she thought, because I had mentioned my mom coming with me, she thought that I was this like 15-year-old girl planning to come all the way from the west coast of Canada to the knitting retreat, and they would, you know, have to babysit me and take care of me because I don't know. Well, you know, I mean, I've always been pretty adventurous, but no, I am actually now 29 because I got to celebrate my birthday at the most amazing knitting retreat of life. Yes. Okay. So I arrive. I had to take an epic, like, it was ridiculous. I had to work all day Saturday, and then the only way for me to make it to Portland, Maine in time to get to this retreat, I had to leave Saturday night and fly kind of overnight. And the way it worked was flying to New York. Well, no, I had to fly from Victoria to Vancouver, which was a 19-minute flight. Like, I'm talking, we took off, and I thought, oh, I've got a couple minutes to knit. I pulled out my knitting, and they're like, please return your trays and seat backs to their upright and blah 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 position because we are about to descend. So I put away the knitting and I thought, alright. And then I had, I think, 3 hours layover in the Vancouver airport. But all in the name of being able to fly back to my home airport, right? So I flew from Victoria to Vancouver, Vancouver to New York on the most incredible airplane I think I've ever been on. The kind that, you know, there is definite class distinction. They have recliners and duvets and, oh, it's amazing. Like their own little curved sectional for the first class people. And then, you know, you get back to coach where it's me and there were like 3 separate aisles in this airplane. Or not aisles, but like chunks of seats. And yet they were still like the nicest airplane seats. Like, I'm not complaining. I don't have any money to recline while I fly. I can recline myself and and make it there for cheaper. But it was so amazing. I think my only complaint was that every food item had some kind of seafood in it, and my stomach just doesn't like seafood, and so I couldn't really have the dinner. But I had eaten at the airport, and so I said, "Oh well, no, thank you. I don't need." I can't really, and they kind of forced a tray on me with like a salad and a dinner roll and a piece of carrot cake. It was carrot cake on an airplane. It was actually really good, except then I look at the salad and the salad has shrimp on it, and that's like death. I just can't eat it. I mean, some people would think, oh, that's the most incredible thing, which I'm sure a lot of them did, but I had to look back at her and I said, I'm so sorry, I really can't eat this. She looked at me like I was crazy, but whatever. At least I didn't waste the shrimp. And so I flew to New York, and I think I got like maybe 2 hours of sleep because I was just so excited. And I was knitting, and I was watching a movie, and I had my little blanket, but now I understand the need for those, you know, U-shaped pillow things, those horseshoes that people put around their necks. I always thought those were just so dorky, and I don't know, I didn't think I was vain, but I just can't picture myself wearing one of those and taking myself seriously. But I mean, who cares? We're all on an airplane. Everyone else is falling asleep and looking stupid anyways, and I really wish I had one of those things. So next time I fly, I'm definitely going to invest in the $10 U-shaped pillow. I want to get one with like a funky pattern on it and go crazy. Why not? So I flew overnight, and it's always remarkable whenever I fly out that way. I've flown to New Brunswick once before, and the further east I get, the more neutral the color of clothing is, and the more kind of subdued and business people, you know. And here I am, and I was actually wearing this dress, this red kind of checkered gingham, and, you know, me and my big crazy glasses, and I a bow in my hair, and I'm, you know, waltzing around with a big grin on my face because I'm so excited to be going on this trip. I was afraid they were going to stop me in security, and because I'm, you know, woo, the crazy person with bright colored clothing, and I don't know, a big, goofy, ridiculous grin on her face. But I just stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm not even, like, I'm not tiny and I'm not short. I'm 5'9", so I'm rather tall, and here I am. And I was wearing moccasins and I had a backpack on because that's my, you know, you gotta travel light and you gotta be concise because I am a brownie leader and I have learned how to pack and how to travel. So I had my little backpack on and I was all, you know, oh, it's great. Except my ears were plugged, and so I almost missed my flight from New York to Portland because they changed the gate on me and made this like kind of announcement, you know, where you can't hear anything even if your ears are working, but mine after the, you know, takeoff, descent, takeoff, you know, oh, it was horrible. But I made it, and I flew into Portland for like 10:30 in the morning, the first day of the retreat, but it wasn't supposed to start until 5. But, you know, it's an adventure. But of course I couldn't go to the Starbucks that was, like, close to where all the fun stuff is. I had Google mapped where I was gonna go, and I picked the furthest away Starbucks from all of the other stuff. Doesn't matter. So I went there, they gave me coffee because I gave them Smarties, and I was so excited. I used to work for Starbucks, so you'll probably hear a lot about Starbucks here and there. Every time I mentioned that I was going to go to Starbucks, people were like, well, there's so many other really cool coffee shops. Why aren't you going to other ones? And you know, I love coffee and I love other kinds of coffee shops, but there's just something like, maybe it's the brainwashing or the just, I don't know. I love Starbucks and it just felt like home. You know, you're going to fly all the way across the country. Why not go to some place that at least is remotely familiar and you know what drinks are on the menu? And, you know, so I stopped and I sat down and I made a plan for my day in Portland, and I was gonna just hit the streets. And little did I realize that Portland is one of those towns that actually kind of closes or gets sleepy on a Sunday. Of course, this was Sunday, and I'm gung-ho, and I've got my huge rolly luggage suitcase, which normally I would never in like 10,000 years walk the streets of anywhere with a rolly luggage. I would be like, forget it. But unfortunately, when you're flying across the country, you don't know what the weather's going to be like. I am such a pansy now that I live on this beautiful Vancouver Island. It is so mild. I haven't seen snow in like a year, maybe longer. It's the first day of December, like December 1st, and there's no snow. I don't know. I don't even think I own like proper boots. Like I brought rubber boots that were kind of lined because I don't think I have snow boots anymore. Yeah. So I was just like kind of worried. So I had this big suitcase and I mean, I wasn't getting picked up until closer to the time of the actual start of the retreat. So here I am rolling a giant luggage suitcase thing through the streets of Portland. I rolled that sucker into like a ton of different little shops and asked them if I could tuck it behind their counter. I rolled it into the pub, one of the pubs, and I found a seat right at the bar, and so I had my suitcase like tucked next to me, and I kind of put my feet up on it and had some shepherd's pie. It was amazing. Aside from being so tired at that point that I thought I was gonna fall over, it was pretty wonderful. I managed to get a little sightseeing in. I took some pictures. I found some free Wi-Fi at the pub, and so I had like a weird random pub date with my husband from across the country. And then I made my way over to Knitwit, the most incredible yarn shop I think I've seen in quite a while. I'm really envious. That is like the nicest little local yarn shop. The owner is so sweet. Oh my goodness, like the kind of person that you just want to pinch their cheeks and like hug them and love them and give them presents because they're so sweet. Okay, so I am going to dig. I have a little bag of all my goodies that I want to share with you, so that's a good thing. Except it's kind of disorganized. Classic, right? Yeah, of course. Who would prepare to you know, show people things and stuff? So I want to dig through, and pardon me looking down. You can admire my Juniper Grace hair bow that I have here. I made that. I just got off. Last week I had a crazy week. I did brownie camp, and my annual craft fair all in the same weekend, and I honestly don't know how I'm still alive right now. But so this is my little project bag that I got from Knitwit, and you can see there that it's Yarn on the Brain. Ah, just about died. I will link to their, I think they have a website, but I think that their Facebook page is a little bit nicer, and it's kind of fun. They keep funky little updates, and think about this, people. Yes, Quince & Company makes their own yarn, but this is kind of like Quince & Company's local yarn shop. You know, the ladies that are the geniuses behind, okay, sorry, my brain just blows every single, I'm just like, pff, mind blown. They have a local yarn shop. They have to, you know, because I mean, why wouldn't they? Everybody that knits has a local yarn shop. This is their local yarn shop, and it's incredible. Well, I mean, I'm sure they have others. This is one of their local yarn shops, and what an incredible local yarn shop. And and there's some designers that I found out that actually work at Knitwit, and oh, it was just, what a pleasure. Okay, so when I went, I was so excited. It was incredible. It was like Christmas. I had hiked around Portland with a rolling luggage, like picture this. Me, with a grin plastered on my face and doing like the classic, like taking pictures of the cobblestone walk, taking pictures of this building, taking pictures of this window, taking pictures, picking up leaves. Like I was just classic freaky tourist and hipster person taking pictures of my feet in Portland, I don't know, for my Instagram because, well, I'm in freaking Portland, Maine. Like, how much fun. And I just had this grin on my face. The weather wasn't that cold at all. Well, at least for me, I wasn't too cold. I was really happy. And I was just thrilled. And so I hike around. And finally, it comes time to arrive at Knitwit. I'm just like, there was an entire wall of Quince & Company yarn. Now you have to understand, I have only ever seen the Quince & Company online. I order it all the time. I mean, I get those little postcards that say, thanks, Grace. And, you know, and I get my yarn. And so I've knit quite a bit with Quince & Company. This is Paula's Gills Rock, which was published in a Quince & Company Scarves, etc. 2013. I'll have to link that. Oh man, I'm going to watch this again to figure out all the things I have to link. Oh, Grace. Anyways, but this is made out of the finch in Iceland? Something. Technically, this is my best friend's scarf because she basically, as soon as I knit it, stole it from me and then bought me more yarn to knit it again. And I haven't done that yet. And I borrowed this back for the retreat and didn't give it back. Oops. Okay, so I arrive at Knitwit and Hannah Fettig was there with her trunk show for her new book and with her books and herself, and I was so excited. I was the only one there. I think I unzipped my suitcase and showed her everything I brought with me, all my projects. I brought Jane and Shannon's new book, Journey. Jane Richmond and Shannon Cook just put out a new, most beautiful knitting book from Vancouver Island. I'll link to that too. And I think I showed, like, I don't know what, I'm sure I talked her ear off. I actually apologized at one point, and then we took a picture. But then it was time, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy some stuff. But I wasn't mentally prepared to buy anything, so I kind of panicked a little bit. I got Hannah's new book, Knitbot Yoked, and it's knit in Owl. So beautiful. Owl is this alpaca gorgeous yarn that not only because it's called Owl, which makes me so freaking happy because I am a diehard Owl fan. I'm a brownie leader, so I am an owl. But it's just so soft and so beautiful, and the colors and the names. Oh, and okay, look, like, seriously. Okay, so, oh my gosh, guys, monumental moment. This is my first time, like, opening up a knitting book and showing you guys a pattern that I want to make, and on my own podcast. Oh, it's gonna take a little while for this to sink in, but I am so excited. Okay, so without revealing important things of the pattern and such, these, oh, it's gonna, wow. Okay, now I get it. These mittens. Okay, let's get even closer. These mittens, Hannah, Oh my gosh. Okay, so these mittens must be made. I will be making them. I mean, I want to make one of the sweaters too. I just think right now, because life is crazy, I won't have a chance to. But as soon as things settle down, I definitely have plans to make one of these beautiful, beautiful sweaters. Wow. What I wouldn't give to have a brain like Hannah's. You know, just, oh, no big deal. I'm just going to design the most gorgeous sweater ever. Someday. Okay, so, and then I also bought this, and it is the Quince & Company Finch in Lichen. There's something about this color in real life, like, oh yeah, the camera's catching it pretty well. I mean, it's kind of like, just lichen. I don't know, it reminds me of forest walks, and these are going to become Hermione's everyday socks. I have a little book that I made that I put the little pictures of everything I wanted to make and all the details under it in a little moleskin, just because I'm super visual and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to rely on any Wi-Fi or, you know, so I made this little cheat book, and I'll have to show you on another episode. Oh my gosh, this is gonna take forever. Okay, so let's just show all the yarn I bought and maybe talk about a couple people. There'll have to be another episode because we are almost at half an hour already, and I don't want it to be that long because I don't want to take all your time in the world. Okay, so I panicked, and that's all I could think of buying, and then my ride was there, and it was time to go, and she said, oh, well, I promised Paula that I'd be there a little bit early to help set up some things, and I was like, she's like, you don't have to go, but do you want to go? Is that okay? And I was like, is that okay? Are you kidding me? Help Paula? Yeah, of course. So when I arrived, we had a lot of like kind of random little things to figure out, but I saw Paula and she's so little and cute. I just wanted to hug her and squish her. And you know, you have that moment when you see somebody and you're just like, ah! Inside, but then you're like, okay, play cool, act cool, be cool. But you can't, you just can't. And I was just trying really hard to help, and sometimes, you know, when you try really hard to help, you actually end up annoying people, and I thought that Paula was probably going to drop kick me out of the way, because I was trying to help people get their rooms, and I was trying to give them pins, but I was just, you know, I didn't know what was happening. I was just trying to be helpful. So I decided to become the ferry service, or like the luggage person, so I just, because I'm, you know, I used to work at camp, and I'm a camp counselor, you know, I can do it. So I just picked up these big suitcases because, of course, a lot of ladies had these big suitcases, and we had to go up like 2 flights of stairs to where we were sleeping. So I was carrying these suitcases, and I got a pin. Oh, okay. Well, reflective. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Grace. That's me. Juniper Grace. And there's the Prairie Piper logo, and Paula wrote that. She wrote my name in cute little Paula writing. Oh, great. Oh yeah, every time I reach over and I'm typing things, it's because my computer screen has shut off and I need to auto lock it so that it stays on, and I haven't done that, but I didn't want to stop recording. Ding! Things for next time. Okay, so I guess, oh wow, okay, too many things. Let's start talking real quick. Okay, so we had lots of stuff going on at the retreat. The first night, we just kind of sat up at the tables in the retreat center. We had this kind of big open hall, and there were all these round tables, and we kind of set up, and I don't really remember half of what happened the first night, because by the time we had eaten dinner and we were sitting down to knit, I was on my super last legs of my 5th wind. I was so tired. Like, people were looking at me, they're like, oh, honey, you need to go to bed. And I'm like, no, I don't want to miss anything. So I stayed up until, I had brought copies of Jane and Shannon's book, some copies for Paula, or a copy for Paula and some copies for Mel, single-handed knitter. Oh, I love her. We'll talk about her later. And, well, you know, those copies started and I brought my own copies of both of their books, Journey and Island, and I realized I was way too tired and had to go to sleep when I looked over at one of the tables next to us, and they had my books, and I couldn't remember how they'd got them. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I I need to go to bed. But you know, you just don't want to. So I think I went up to bed and I kind of laid there for a few minutes, but then I like was playing on my phone and getting Wi-Fi and talking to my husband, and then I crashed. So then the next day, Paula had it set up so cool. It was so relaxed and so mellow. I really loved that because I was tired. But I was just so excited to be there. And so the first day we were just kind of hanging around and knitting and chatting and meeting people and making friends. And then we did this brown paper bag swap where we brought some, like, I think it was supposed to be a skein of fingering weight yarn and nicer yarn, not junky yarn that, you know, has been in your stash for a million years. And it was just some blind swap. Like, you stick it in a paper bag with your information and then you put it on the table. And then you go up and you grab a different bag, obviously not your own, and you find the person who gave you that and then ask them the story behind the yarn. And so I got this yarn. I'll kind of push it up. It's, I've never ever used this before. It is JoJoland Melody Superwash. Dye-Lot. No, that's not fun. Color MS40. Man, you know, like half the fun of yarn is making up the color names, just saying. But it's gorgeous. It's got even little bits of purple and teal and turquoise and gray. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And it was from Pat. Pat Frag, who is my mother's doppelganger, which is for another story. But I found her and I gave her a huge hug and she told me the story that, I mean, first of all, two, not just one, but two. She told me the story that she got this on her first ever knitting pipeline retreat to the Fiber Universe. I guess they were shopping in Peoria, Washington. You always hear about it when you listen to the knitting pipeline. And oh my goodness, this came from, it's like I got to be there. And it's so squishy, and it felt like a present from my mom. You know, it was just perfect. I think I gave away Plucky Knitter. Actually, it was really nice Plucky Knitter. I wasn't using it, and it, you know, and it was beautiful, and I thought, let's just pass it on. Okay, so that happened, and then that swap, Pat actually got this incredible yarn. And I mean, it just looked like a fall day cornucopia basket walk in the woods with the leaves oh, just beautiful. And it turned out that another one of the pipeliners had actually dyed it herself. Her name is Barb, and she, I think she's BLB on Ravelry, and she has a little yarn label, kind of, that she is just getting started. I don't think it's really, she hasn't got it on, you know, oh, where would she have it? On Etsy or anything yet. But she's working on it, and I think the name is, and I'm trying to find the little piece of paper she gave me. She calls it Aggie Johnson. Here it is. Aggie Johnson Fiberworks, because that was the name of her imaginary friend. I love knitters. You guys are crazy and amazing. And so she found out it was my birthday. I mean, I don't know how she found out. It's not like I was saying it like every 5 seconds. So she finds out that it's my birthday, and she goes, "Oh, well, I'll bring some yarn down and you can have some." Excuse me? So she gave me, again, oh yeah, you can see it. It's the most beautiful, like, just bright blue, tonal, fingering weight, gorgeous. Smells good. Just, did you ever do that where you just get yarn and you're like, it smells so good. I love hugging and loving yarn and smelling it. Oh, and this isn't to make you guys jealous. I just have to share the joy. It was such a wonderful, beautiful gift. I got so many amazing, incredible gifts. I think, oh, like the first night when I met Mel, and, oh no, it must have been the second night. She was starting a Magic Cake ruffle shawl, because we actually got to make a Magic Cake to make our shawls, Paula. I'll have to show you. I don't think I have it on me. But when we were making them, she just, Mel's really good at coercing you into doing things for her. No, that's really mean. No. She asked very nicely, and I was happy to get her started on her shawl, just because I think she was really excited about the way the cake looks, but then you kind of get freaked out about the idea of the color changes. The idea is that you take little scraps of different kinds of yarn and you connect them together to make a bigger ball of yarn, so you can actually make another project out of all your little leftovers from your different socks and whatever. Except I'm neurotic and I never have leftovers more than like 2 inches long, because it took me a while to get into the world of spending more money on like buying nicer yarns, not just kind of basic workhorse yarns. And I love doing it, and then when I feel like if I spend that much money, I have to use every last little inch of it, you know, in some way, somehow. So I was so worried that I wouldn't have anything to contribute to these magic cakes, so I just brought a big skein of Sweet Georgia tough love sock yarn to break down and give to other people in hopes that they would let me have some of their yarn. Little did I know that there was so much yarn we had like extra cakes that were made. But Mel asked me, she's so sweet. You just want to do anything for her. I mean, she's like, oh, could you put my shoes on for me? And I would be like, yes, I would love to. Oh, could you brush my hair for me? And not that she would ever actually ask that for you, but like you just want to because she's so sweet. You can't help it. You're like, yes, let me carry you somewhere, please. Okay, I love you and hug you forever. And so I started her Magic Cakes shawl just so that she could see the awesomeness, because I'm not as afraid of that craziness. I mean, if you can tell, I'm wearing like red and purple and gray, and I've got a leopard print bow in my hair. I'm crazy. So I don't care. That didn't freak me out at all. So I was like actually really eager to play with somebody else's creation. So I started her thing off and we were looking. She needed to have some stitch markers in there. And she's like, oh, she's showing us the different little stitch markers, and she saw these really cute, like, handmade ones from Hawaii. And I was like, I saw this little wood cutout that's, like, actually one of the islands. I think it was Kauai. And it's a stitch marker, and it's beautiful. And I said, oh, that's so cool. Mel, that's so cool. And she's like, here, have it. I'm like, okay, seriously? What? And she finds out it's my birthday, and she's like, well, we have to get you a present. And she's so generous. She'd give you anything. I mean, aside from her kids, she probably wouldn't give you her kids. Well, maybe on a bad day, but do you know what I mean? Like, she's one of those people, and you're like, oh, Mel, I like your hat. She'd be like, here, have it. Like, just so generous. Another reason why you just can't help but love her and want to give her things. So I started her shawl for her, and she gave me a stitch marker, and I was like, well, that's awesome. I'll do that anytime. Okay, so then we went shopping, and on Tuesday, we actually had a shopping day where we started off at Saco River Dye Works, where they actually dye all of the yarn for Quince & Company. It's amazing. So we went into and they have a yarn shop, and the yarn shop really is like the most incredible. Like, I thought Knitwit was incredible, which is like the flagship shop where they had all of the original store that actually carried Quince & Company. But then there's Saco, which I was always calling it Saco River Dye Works because I had no clue. I don't know. I'm from Canada, guys. Like, Saco. It's S-A-C-O. That to me is Saco, but that's just whatever. That's a whole different story. We go in and they're like, yeah, your group's gonna shop first and this group's gonna go on a tour. And I was like, yes, shopping! I took pictures of Mary Woolly Bear 368. She was hugging the wall of yarn, and I was hugging the wall of yarn, and it was amazing. And then the shop owner was just like, oh, well, you know, if you see something that you like and there's not enough of it, or something you know should be there is missing, just let me know. I'll go to the back and get it, because they had every single skein of Quince & Company yarn that, you know, where they fulfill the orders. It happens there. I actually found the girl who does all the little order fulfillments, and I went up to her and I'm like, excuse me. And I was like, I mean, bouncing. I was like, excuse me, are you the one that fulfills the orders? Like, the one that signs, like, thanks, and then, you know, everything on the postcard? And like, I think you are. You're the one that does that, aren't you? And she's like, yes. Yes, I am. As she continues to work, and I'm like, that's amazing! Freaking out like a really cool person. you know, I can't help it. So I get there and I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I gonna get? So I had the pattern Caterpillar. Yes. Caterpillar queued for a really long time, and it's knit out of Tern, and Tern is the one type of yarn. It's like a silk wool blend fingering, similar to Finch, but different because of the silk content. And I have never knit with that yet. It's just a little more expensive than average, or no, that's a lie. It's just like, it's barely slightly more expensive than a skein of Finch, like a matter of $1 or $2. So, and their yarn is already so affordable. So honestly, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just never got up the guts to order some Tern. So so that was my plan. I was gonna go buy the skeins I needed. So I got this. Oh my gosh, where's my camera? Okay. So this is the Quince & Company Tern, and it is in Kelp. How freaking beautiful. Oh, my screen went off again. Why do I do this? Okay. How freaking beautiful is this? Like, look. And again, you're actually getting pretty accurate color here. It's a little bit richer. It's kind of yellowy. It's like kelp. It's amazing. So I got enough to do that. And I picked something else up. Oh yeah, they also have this thing called seconds, where like if the dye batch didn't quite work or whatever, or it wasn't up to the standards of the yarn company that they're dyeing for, which is not just Quince, they dye for a couple other places, they will sell it to you for a discounted price. And so I got Swan's Island. I have no idea what the colorway is or what the name of the yarn is. It's just fingering weight. It was only 20 bucks. I was like, yes. And it's this beautiful kind of mix of orange. And you know, I never knit with orange, but lately, apparently I am channeling my grandmother who loved the color orange, and I probably gonna do a shawl. Yep. That smells awesome. And it was a second. I don't know what the heck's wrong with it, but nothing as far as I'm concerned. This is perfect. So then I ran away on the trip, and and we got these amazing, oh, mine's so full and messy. We got these amazing Knitting Pipeline tote bags as just like a thanks for coming to the retreat. I'm like, seriously? And inside came some skeins of, I believe it's Chickadee. Originally I got a darker color, but my lovely friend April had been really wanting that color, and I had actually been wanting Poppy. So here is Poppy, and they gave us enough. I think I'm gonna make, yeah, here it is, the Chickadee, which is one of my favorite. It's a sport weight in one of the new colorways, Poppy. I think I'm gonna make the Lullaby Rain shawl in this because there's enough. They gave us enough. But then after the tour, I really wanted to get the color cards, you know, with all of the little bits of yarn and all the colors that they're dyed. Because I'm in Canada, I need that. So I got that, but while I was waiting, the wall spoke to me again, the seconds, and this is Chickadee in Storm, and it's this beautiful gray color, like, and again, I have no concept, like, I honestly have no concept of what could have possibly gone wrong with it. It's just a little bit cheaper, and there's no band or anything. I just know that it's the Storm colorway, and I love it. Then they took us. We were in this amazing chartered bus, and I was sitting next to my birthday buddy Barb, Animal Nut, NML Nut, Animal Nut, on Ravelry, and she's the same birthday as me. I've gotten like how many years? I'm 29 now. That many years without finding anybody else that has the same birthday as me, really, or you know, at least around my birthday. I never run into anyone, and so she was there, which was incredible, and we were goofing around, and they drove us into Portland, and we had the chance to go to Knitwit again, which I totally took advantage of. I love Knitwit, but then also Tess and then just Free For All. And I don't know what happened to me. I just decided that I was like, well, I'm in Portland and I need to get some souvenirs for all my crazy Canadian people, and I just decided that I was gonna be a lone wolf, and I went crazy. I wandered the streets of Portland yet again, but this time with no rolly luggage. And I found so many great things, little presents and gifts and postcards and stuff, because you can't go like across the country without bringing presents back. But Mel, most amazing, generous, loving Emsky Knits, single-handed knitter, she gave me the Harry Potter knits book. I love Harry Potter so much, I can't even believe it. Like, I'm just such a nerd. Like, I am like, oh my, I listen to Stephen Fry reading the audiobooks on a regular basis. I have all the books, I have all the movies, I have Harry Potter themed tea parties with my best friend. I really love Harry Potter. My best friend actually went to Harry Potter, Universal Studios, Orlando, whatever, that actually got to go to the world, and she brought me back the chocolate frog. Except I got Helga Hufflepuff in my chocolate frog card. I kind of really wished I'd gotten Albus Dumbledore, but I guess I'll have to go again. Or I'll have to go and get my own chocolate frog. Maybe buy like 10 until I get Albus. So she gave me the Harry Potter knits book, and I don't, it's far away and I can't get it right now, but you probably have all seen it. They don't sell them in Canada. And so I told her about this, and I told a few other people about this, and so she bought it for my birthday, and then oh gosh, it's so beautiful. And I bought this yarn to make the Sword of Gryffindor something mitts. They're like fingerless mitts. They're beautiful. And it's Road to China Light. I don't even know about this. I just never knew about this. Didn't even hear about it. It's and it's called Malachite. It's 65% baby alpaca, 10% cashmere, 10% camel, and 15% silk. That is freaking cool. I can't wait to knit with that. That's gonna be fun. Oh, so many things to knit with. Oh, and then my mom, who basically paid for my trip to go out there, well, not completely, but a good chunk of it, she was like, oh, would you bring me back some yarn? You know, just something, please. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, Mom. Like, what do you want? And she's just like, well, I don't know, and I can pay you back for it. I was like, excuse me? Pay me back? It's not gonna happen. So I got her this really funky thing called Dirty Water Dye Works. Lillian, and I bought that at Knitwit. I've never heard of it before. It's beautiful. And the color is Depression Glass. Awesome. So that is for her. It's going to be hard to let that go, but it's so beautiful. Other things that happened... I'm going to have to do another episode. Okay, we got to wrap this up. The other thing, again, just the generosity of knitters. It's incredible. The gifts that they gave me, the amazing things like Jan and Mary went out and bought me a birthday cake and some other things that you drink and enjoy. And what was it? Pat Frag, my mama Pat. She was knitting a gift for Mel. She made her the most beautiful Gills Rock, but in purple, the crocus color, I think, yeah, crocus color of Quince & Company, Finch, and I was like, oh, that's great, what are you going to do with the rest of it? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I guess you'll have to figure it out, and she put it in my hand and gave me the rest of her yarn, which is just... Of course I'll figure out something to do with it. I think I'll make fingerless mittens. Looks like there's just enough to do a little fingerless mittens. So she's so sweet. Other highlights where we were and Mary also brought me okay, so I love the Boston, Maine accent. It's hard to follow a little bit for me because I'm from Canada. I don't know, we don't talk like this. So I met a few amazing people, and Mary was one of my favorites. And she starts, I guess one of my curiosities for the whole weekend was, why is Boston called Beantown? And people were like, well, I don't know, because of the baked beans. And I was like, okay, sure. But I kept asking. And finally it came down to Mary's like, well, I'm going to Google it. And so she pulls out and she Wikipedias it on her tablet or phone or something. And I guess this will have to be my last story because we're like an hour. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you for making it. It's my first podcast. I promise they won't all be like this. I'm going to try to aim for like 30-ish minutes, but I like to talk. But we'll still be friends, right? So she's telling me about this and I'm like, she's like, you know, like baked beans. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but when we have baked beans, it's like crack open a can of like the molasses, whatever, brown beans, and very British, beans on toast, or, you know, just beans, or put them in your tacos or whatever. And she's just like, well, you know, the bean pot, we used to make them. You can make them. And I was like, well, really? Like, I don't know. I've only ever had them out of a can. And she's like, well, yeah, you know, the bean pot. And I'm like, no, I don't know the bean pot. And so she pulls up these pictures of this, like, ceramic. I mean, half of you that are listening already know what that is. But she shows me what a bean pot looks like. And she's like, you know, so, well, when I was a kid, my mom, and she talks like that. She's like, well, when I was a kid, my mom, oh, wait, mom. Sorry, Mary, I love you. She's like, my mom always made them with soldier beans. And I'm like, what are soldier beans? I don't know. She's like, you know, soldier beans. And no, I don't know what soldier beans are. So when she brings me, there's a really funny picture on Instagram, you can find it. She brings me my beverage of choice, that's my favorite, for my birthday. She also brought me soldier beans. Okay, so these things that are soldier beans, they're white with like a little bit of red on the inside. You know, you can kind of see that. And then that little bit of red looks like a soldier. Yep, sure. And it's got a recipe for how to make the beans. But Mary, you're supposed to give me a new recipe that's better. So you better. Anyways, it's just soldier beans. But apparently they don't actually really have these in Canada, or at least not where I'm from. And I'm pretty sure this was probably an illegal thing that I flew back, but they didn't stop me. They didn't take it out of my luggage. I wasn't going to volunteer the information because I think it's an, you know, plant product. That's not illegal. I don't care. I'm going to make them and enjoy them, and you'll have to send me more because I'm sure I'm going to love them. And I can't get them here. That's why I didn't know about them. I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid or, like, unknowledgeable in the ways of beans. Just, they don't really sell these out here. Because my husband didn't know what they were, neither did my best friend. Okay, so we stayed at this most incredible retreat center in Alfred, Maine, that was run by the brothers. And this is, I guess, the founder. And he looks like Bill Murray. So I thought you guys would appreciate Brother Bill Murray. He, that's so amazing. It was so nice there. It was so sweet and so peaceful, and I stayed up way too late every single night, but that's okay. I loved every minute of it. Paula, thank you so much. There's more stories to tell, like the amazing project bag I was given also by Julie, who is Inky 077. I don't know. I'll link her. She's starting up a little brand called Mooncusser Bags. And look, there's red shoes on the inside and on the strap, and there's blue gingham here. And then, okay, this is the coolest thing. I've seen tons of project bags in Canada, but I've never seen this, where they put a little charm on the zipper pull, and it's little red shoes. It's a Dorothy. Oh gosh, I'm dying. Okay, so finally, I guess I'll just show you what I'm working on. It's a pair of fingerless mittens, knit from Ann Budd's five easy pieces. It's one of the new collections that Quince came out with. I am loving it. It's simple. I'm knitting with Shibui sock yarn, my favorite. It has been a hectic, crazy month. I can't believe it's December already. I celebrated my birthday about 3 times. I've had people sing happy birthday to me, shower me in Starbucks cards, shower me in love and kindness and wonderful words. Last night we finished it all off with our traditional Nog's Eve party, and we wore ugly sweaters and drank eggnog, and I got a couple more birthday presents, and I'd love to tell you about that, but we are so close to an hour, it's ridiculous. So thank you for sticking around. I really hope that you are having a wonderful week. Welcome to December, and welcome to this podcast. Here we go. Let's get it started. I think I'm going to have to make a Ravelry page for this. So maybe somebody could help me. I have no idea how to make logos and things like that. I don't even know what that would be really, aside from what I already have for Juniper Grace. For the people that are watching, remember, go check out my blog. It's junipergrace.blogspot.com. Definitely follow me on Instagram. That is one of my favorite places. I am Juniper Grace on Instagram. I think I'm on Twitter, But I think I'm something silly like Graceface, like GEERACEFACE. And I really, the only thing that keeps my Twitter alive is my Instagram. So if you just follow me on Instagram, but if you like Twitter, I'm there for you. You know, it's just my Instagram. And yeah, let's become friends. I really want to. And I will do another post and I will talk about more people. I have so many show notes to make now. Did it to myself. But I hope you enjoyed my little view into the things I got from the main retreat. And next time, let's talk a little bit more about the people that I got to meet and a few of the stories. And eventually we'll get some music on this podcast because I really love playing my ukulele for people. And yeah, if you want to drop me a note, I am Juniper Grace on Ravelry. Please say hello. And I guess this is me signing off. And I don't really have a tagline yet. I have to figure it out. Because I know Paula has her little, like, hold your knitting close, which is so freaking sweet. I guess I just hope that you have a wonderful day. And let's figure it out. We'll make it work. We'll find something later. So this is me signing off. Thank you so much for watching Juniper Grace.